Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. You ever run into someone who thinks money gives them superpowers? Well, today's story is about one of those people. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Entitled woman demands I pump her gas, then tries to get me arrested. So let's start from the top. I was at a gas station helping a friend of mine bring in supplies from the truck. He worked for Coca-Cola at the time and was in full uniform. I was in a blue polo and jeans, and I, knowing he had a back problem, decided to give him a hand since I just so happened to be there. Now for the story. EB is entitled B, I am me, F is my friend, and AW is awesome worker. So like I said, I was helping F move some stuff from the truck into the store, and along comes EB. EB pulls up in her 2018 Mercedes-Benz and has that daddy's little girl expression all over her face and the typical office Karen hairdo, and demands that I pump her gas because she's a paying customer. I politely say I don't work here, ma'am, and proceeded to carry the soda into the store. Note that the dolly was broken. So 2 minutes later, after talking with F and AW, I go back outside to bring more stuff in, and she's there with the ramp up and the door closed, blocking me from getting the soda out. So I ask her what the hell she's doing and why she closed the truck. She called me a lazy a-hole, and I tell her even if I did work here, it wouldn't be my job to pump her gas, it's her responsibility. Then I ask her to move so I can continue to do what I was doing before. She refused. So me, noticing that my buddy and the AW are still talking inside, and being that I've seen many stories and watching a countless number of Redditors' vids about entitled people, I decided to have some fun. So after a couple of minutes of arguing, I said in the best Scottish accent impersonation I could do, "Listen here, you little C." Then in my normal voice, I say, "I don't work here, lady." I'm not really Scottish, just able to do good voice impersonations. By now, I would have thought that she took the hint and went off to bother someone else or pump her own gas. I was dead wrong. She walks up to the front door while I continue to unload the truck, of course, after reopening it. She then screeches at the AW about how I should be fired and demands that he pumps her gas for her and that people who make less than her shouldn't question what she says. I then jump in and tell her to leave until she decides to take a swing at me and tell me to shut up. Of course, I dodged it, which pissed her off even more, but by now AW had her in a headlock while me and F pinned her legs and arms down and brought her to the ground. She then has the nerve to start screaming "rape" at the top of her lungs, but no one else was there at the time. I then tell AW to call the police and tell them about the crazy woman, and they surprisingly ended up showing up only 10 minutes later. When the police arrived, the woman accused us of trying to rape her in broad daylight, right in front of the front door of the gas station with a clear view for anyone to see. He already knew she was lying, but checked the tapes for the evidence and asked me if I wanted to press charges. I said yes and gave the EB the biggest smile I could muster as she panicked. After the officer put her in the back of the car, I told him I wasn't really going to press charges and that I just wanted to give her a little scare. He laughed and asked me if I was sure, and I said, "No, I'm not really sure, but I'll still not press charges." And that was the end of that. Looking back on this, I laugh, and every time I visit the gas station, AW says, "Hey, remember that time that crazy woman attacked you?" We both have a good laugh. My friend quit working for Coca-Cola for reasons unrelated to that, and I'm not currently sure where he works now as we've lost touch, and also not sure what happened to the EB. Probably was let go later that day since I didn't press charges. This is some entitlement mixed with a heavy dose of stupidity. Imagine blocking a delivery truck mid-job just because she didn't want to pump her own gas. Like, ma'am, are your hands allergic to work? Should have pressed charges. That's the kind of lady that's begging for her opportunity to press charges. Should have thrown her down her own well. And our second story. Wearing the wrong colors got me yelled at by a Karen. This happened about 10 years ago. Usually I avoided the Target in my old neighborhood, but one Friday night I walk into the store near me after my 9 to 5 doing IT support, I had enough for 1 week of dealing with end users. I just wanted to grab a frozen Supreme pizza and a 6-pack of cheap beer for dinner, call it a day. As luck would have it, as I was about to head to the front of the store to check out, this woman, who I'm guessing's in her early 30s, suddenly puts her hand out and says, "Excuse me." Confused, I stop in my tracks. It had been a long day, but I tried to be polite. Kind of on autopilot, I said, "Can I help you with something?" She says, "Can you tell me where I can find diapers?" I don't have kids, so I say, "No, sorry." I make to go by her and on my way, and she steps in front of me again. Well, why not? Rude, okay. Because I don't work here. Yes, you do. Find me someone who does know. Demanding. What the hell, I think to myself. Then the penny drops. I dressed in a hurry that morning. I was wearing a red polo shirt and khaki pants. Yeah, no, sorry, you're mistaken. I don't work here. Have you been drinking on the job? Points at the cans in my hand. Get me your manager. Louder now. Lady, I don't work here. Get them yourself, I said firmly. I elbowed my way past her and made my way rapidly to the lanes to get out of this stupid situation. Hey, she follows me at a distance at first, then I lose sight of her as I turn a corner. I get in line and wait for my turn. About 10 minutes have passed in total. By this time, she's found a manager at the customer service counter, drags him over. Thankfully, he takes one look at me and knows I'm not one of his employees. He apologizes to me first. She's all huffy and doesn't say anything more to me. He then kindly steered her away and helped her himself. I got the hell out of there immediately afterwards. Never went back. The red polo and khakis were taken to a clothing donation drop box after my laundry was done the following day. I haven't worn that color combination since. I hate it when people think that because you work somewhere, you know where everything is. Maybe you should have led her over to the adult diapers, OP. And our next story. Lady mistakes me for Target employee, then calls my real job to complain. I've been mistaken for employees in various places multiple times, but overall those interactions usually end fine with a, "Oh, I'm sorry," from whomever asked. Easy peasy. Wednesday, I had my first semi-aggressive encounter. I was in the parking lot at Target getting ready to enter the store to make a return. I was dressed for work still, but I don't think I could have been mistaken for an employee in what I was wearing, which was a pair of dark blue high-waisted pants and a red sheer blouse. I'm still wearing my name tag for the unrelated company I work for. Not exactly your typical Target red polo / tee and khaki slacks. The store was busy, so I parked towards the back. I was heading towards the cart corral, so I didn't have to carry the return box all the way into the store from the back spaces. As I'm headed over that way, a lady flagged me down and asked if I wanted her cart as she'd just finished. I thanked her, wiped it down with my pocket back wipes, and was getting ready to walk back the 3 spaces to my own car. Just then, the lady in the car next to her pushes her cart next to me and starts to walk away. I just ignored her and headed towards my car as she got in her own, which had a giant Lula Rose sign in the window. I should have taken it as a sign. She noticed I didn't take her cart with me, and she rolled down her window. The following exchange occurred. B-word lady, "Excuse me." Me, pausing and turning around. "Pardon?" BL, "Are you going to take my cart? If you leave it there, someone's going to hit it with their car." Me, still not understanding. "I have to haul in my return items quickly so I can pick up my son, so I can't take it for you, sorry." BL, "If someone hits it, it'll be your butt." Me, "You left it in the middle of the lot. If you're worried about it, put it away." BL, "Excuse me?" I walked to my car, got my box, and hauled butt inside because it was frickin' hot. Got done, and then I stopped at Starbucks, and I turned and looked through the glass, and who is it coming in through the double doors? B-lady. She's hauling butt to customer service, and I still have no idea she thinks I work there because my dumb butt gets my coffee at a leisurely pace and start walking towards the exit. I assume the customer service people told her I didn't work there because she huffed over to me and said, "BL, you know, you could have told me you didn't effing work here." Me, "Okay, I don't work here." BL, "F off." Now, all in all, that exchange isn't the worst, right? I thought, this is hardly Reddit-worthy, and I moved on. But, she called and complained about me at my actual job. She asked to speak to the manager of Spira, and they told her there are actually 3 Spiras here, and she said the dark-skinned one. She must have seen my name tag to realize I didn't work there. My manager's the executive director of human resources. She just called me up this morning to ask me about it. She said a woman called in a complaint that I was rude to her in the Target parking lot while I was on the clock. I wasn't. I asked my manager what she said I did that was rude. My manager just laughed and said that I wouldn't offer to take her card for her, and then refused to tell her I didn't work for Target. I explained, which I didn't have to. My manager is cool as F, and she just laughed it off. The only bit of advice she said was, next time take off your name tag, then you can totally call her out with no repercussions. Wow, what an absolute menace to society. Mistaking someone for an employee is one thing, but doubling down and calling your actual workplace to try and get you in trouble? That's a next level Karen move. And our last story. Entitled neighbors sue me for denying them access to my pool. I bought my house 5 years ago, and one of the biggest selling points was the beautiful backyard pool. After moving in, I had it completely refinished, making it a perfect place to relax during the summer. My next-door neighbors had lived in their house for over 20 years, and right after I moved in, they wasted no time telling me about their history with my pool. Apparently, they were close with the original owners and had frequent access to it. They made it clear they were hoping I'd keep the tradition alive. At first, I was too nice. Not wanting to start off on the wrong foot, I let them use it a few times. They would text and ask, and I figured, why not? But quickly I realized I'd made a huge mistake. They got too comfortable. Every time they asked, it felt less like a request and more like a demand. They'd stay for hours, invite friends over, act like it was their personal pool, and when I was out there, they didn't respect my space at all. They weren't my friends, but they were treating my home like a public park. So I cut them off. I started making excuses. Eventually, I stopped responding altogether. They got the hint. For a while. Then the entitlement reached a whole new level. A few weeks ago, my neighbor casually said, "It's been really hot lately. Mind if we use the pool sometime?" Of course, we'd text first and ask you. I wasn't getting caught off guard this time. I immediately shut it down. Sorry, but I'm not comfortable sharing the pool anymore. He stared at me like I'd just committed a crime. Wait, so we're just not allowed to use it at all now? No, I don't think it's a good idea anymore. That's kind of selfish, don't you think? We used to use it all the time before you moved in. I almost laughed. Before I moved in? It's my house now. But I just repeated, it's private property, I'm not sharing it. He stormed off, muttering about how unfair I was being. I figured that was the end of it. A week later, I was in complete disbelief when I received a lawsuit. My neighbor was actually suing me for denying them access to the pool. Their claim? The previous owners allowed them access for years, meaning they had a historical right to use the pool. They had relied on it for recreation and were now suffering emotional distress. I was discriminating by letting other people, aka my Airbnb guests, use the pool, but not them. I called my lawyer immediately, and he shut that nonsense down fast. There was no written agreement. Just because they swam before doesn't mean I owe them access. A historical right doesn't exist. This is private property. They had no financial stake in the pool. They were never entitled to anything. The judge didn't even take it seriously. The case was dismissed immediately. But I wasn't done. To make sure they never tried this again, I installed a locked gate around the pool, put up private property, no trespassing signs, had my lawyer send them a cease and desist letter. Like, imagine walking into court with a straight face and claiming emotional distress because your free, unearned luxury was taken away. Judge must have been fighting back laughter while dismissing that nonsense. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.